Hey, how's it going? This is my second attempt at this because I didn't have the microphone on when I just recorded this. So this is going to be my second attempt, but I'll be able to go over it faster and more efficiently this time. And after that, I had to pour myself a little glass of wine. Hardly have a drink, but I have some old bottles of wine. One of them I opened up because I had it for a few years now. So anyway, this is something I want to go over that's extremely important that people are overlooking. And it's something that I brought attention to last year, a year and a half ago, and a few months ago, I actually made a video about it. And this was before, all the talk in the U.S. about all the vaccine passports, and a lot of people had no idea that it was even a thing because it was something they weren't really talking about too much in the mainstream news. But I found this out because ever since the whole situation hit, almost 2 years now, technically 3, because 2019 is when it started at the end, and December, and now we're only a few months away from that time. So this is something I said that was going to happen for years. It was going to continue and continue because I saw the pattern. Something that they've been doing in China is having health codes on people's phones. And why is this important? Because I knew it was going to come here. It was going to be something that they're going to implement here. And thanks to NTD News and Epoch Times and stuff, because they've really been covering stuff like this for a long time. It seems like everything they say ends up, coming true. And so I really like them. I'll probably put the link to their videos and stuff too down here. But I'm going to put a link to all these videos up top. Links to all these links up top and their videos. And I'm going to go over why this is all used for control. And I'm going to show it to you. And I'm going to show you that this isn't just some crackpot theory that, I came up with overnight. This is something that I've been covering for a long time. And people should realize what's happening here. And I'm going to go over what's going to be happening in the future, too. And I'm going to be making some predictions based on all the evidence that has arisen and from watching other countries like China. So the history of Chinese health codes. So I'm going to go right into it right now. And China, and this was back in March 2020. I became aware of this. A lot of the posts I see now aren't even on the internet anymore. From like early 2020, there was reports on this, and even 2019, there was China using health code apps and stuff for a while, and they're used to control their citizens. So this is March 2nd, 2020, at 11:59 a.m. China is reportedly making people download an Alibaba-backed app which decides whether they'll be quarantined for the coronavirus. For people who don't know, because I also do investing, Alibaba is basically the Chinese Google. They're Google. They're huge. And what they do is they collect people's facial recognition. They can collect as much data about every single person as possible on different companies there, on everything that's going on. In fact, the creator and owner of Alibaba has been in and out of what seems to be like Chinese prisons. He disappears for times, especially after criticizing the Chinese government. But it seems like every time it comes back, it's kind of odd because he seems a little bit dumber and a little more obedient. You can look that up yourself. Check that out. There's an interesting interviews with him and Elon Musk and stuff, and Elon Musk is just looking at him like, wow, is this guy stupid? How did he become like one of the richest people in the world? So anyway, the Chinese government is reportedly telling citizens to use a mobile app that tells them if they will be quarantined for the coronavirus. The app uses color code. According to New York Times, green means people can travel freely, while yellow or red indicates they must report to authorities. And just for people that if they're on the left that are watching this, I'm not just going to go over New York Times. I'm going to go over NBC and CBS. They still cover this too, as well as Epoch Times and stuff, which is on the right, or a little more centered too. E-commerce giant Alibaba and its sister company Ant Financial run the app, which also reportedly sends people's information and location to police. So your health code is not even private. And what they do is they log your, we can get into this too, they log your entire health history. Not just this vaccine, but your entire health history is also on these apps. The app represents an unprecedented use of consumer smartphone technology by a nation-state to respond to public health crisis. The privacy advocates worry it's giving the Chinese government an excuse to harvest more citizen data. And not just data, but organs. Because if you notice, and I'm leaving all these things in the back, so you can go and read all these yourself. What they do with this app is they have health codes, and when you have a red health code, you must be quarantined, you get rounded up, and you get taken to multiple places, either to a hospital to be quarantined, or if you're someone of interest, if you're a minority, or if you're some sort of dissident or bad civilian with a bad citizen code, they put you in prison. And these prisons are like the Auschwitz camp and stuff like that from in Germany in the 30s. And what they do is they're labor camps. And what they do is they imprison you and they treat you like garbage. And then if they feel like it, if someone needs organs, then they harvest your organs. They kill you and they take your organs. You know those bodies exhibits that were in the city and in certain nations they had go around the world, and there was like this Chinese exhibit that they did in New York. Well, those were the prisoners from these camps. You know, a lot of them were just innocent people that were rounded up, and then they were used, and their bodies were put on display across the world. Just to let you people know. The service, called Health Code, is being run by Chinese government using a platform owned by Ant Financial. And it's the sister company to Alibaba, which we just went over. People can sign up through Alipay wallet app. Tencent, the Chinese tech giant that owns WeChat, also reportedly partnered with the government to host similar health code systems on its app. They don't have an option to not partner with the government. And you're seeing a very similar thing happen right now in the United States with Google and Twitter and Facebook. These are gigantic data harvesting companies that are working with the government to eventually sort people out. And the reason I'm going over these health codes is because what happens is they're pushing it here in the United States. They're going to do all these same things, and it's going to be, you know, partially backed by Google. But you know who creates them? It's IBM. IBM is the same company who created the health codes and the bar systems, the bar codes for the Jews in World War II. This is no coincidence, because they have prior experience to it. And that's what's happening here. And what happens? People disappear. And look, 21 million Chinese cell phone users disappear in 3 months of pandemic. Like I was just explaining. They track you down using your phone, and anyone they want, like these were minorities and certain people of interest, and what they do is they round them up, and they deactivate your cell phone. You just disappear. And your family never hears from you again. No one never hears from you again. You're just taken away, and they harvest your organs, and they put you in camps. And this can easily happen in America. The official count from China is 3,277 fatalities from 81,000 infections as of Tuesday. And this is an older report. This is March 2020. So this is when it just kind of was like really taken off. And lockdowns just happened just a few days before that. And it should be stated that the onset, we should blah, 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 and they just go over what we already know about, you know, the virus and all that stuff. But what they're doing is they're taking this information and they're tracking people. And how are they doing this? Because they're using people's cell phones and these health codes in order to track them, using GPS. Like I said, I'm going to go over not just the left and centered and right. I'm going to go over all these different news outlets just to show you that this is a thing that's happening. It's not just like people making this up on one party or the other. Is China hiding COVID-19 death toll? 21 million cell phones disappeared. International Business Times. Since the outbreak of the novel coronavirus, which emerged in China's Wuhan, the pandemic has killed 15,374 people globally. Blah, blah. And this is an older one, too. This is March 29th. So this is just 9 days after the last, or a few days after the last one I just showed you. But recently, Beijing authorities announced that on March 19th, more than 21 million cell phone accounts were canceled, while in the past 3 months, 840,000 landlines were closed in China, which gives an idea that probably these closed numbers belong to the people who died due to the disease. And they're tracking you. I'm putting all this stuff so you can read it. I'm not going to go over all this stuff because I want to get to the meat of all this, all these stories. ABC News. So that's the opposite of Breitbart, right? And when was this? April in 2020. They're always a little bit behind. Wuhan, let's see. China rolls out software surveillance for the COVID-19 pandemic, alarming human rights advocates. I wonder why. Because everything I just went over. Wuhan, China, where the first reported cases emerged 10 weeks ago, reopened its border last week. And if you've noticed, they've closed down a bunch of times ever since, too. This is over a year ago. The Chinese government has begun to track some of its citizens through software that analyzes their personal data to sort individuals into color-coded categories: red, yellow, or green, corresponding to their health status and level of risk of COVID-19. So this app has helped governments relax lockdown measures across the country in an attempt to reopen their economy, but concerns are rising about whether this temporary measure will become permanent. And it will become permanent, just like they're trying to push it for America. That's not going to stop. Just to let everybody know that this coronavirus is never going to go away. They found a way to control people, and it's never going to go away. These injections, they're never going to go away, because now they found a way to experiment on people. And now you need these passports that are never going to go away. So these are all becoming permanent fixtures of human life from now on. And they don't have to be. When has a disease like this ever, in the history of the million years plus that humans have been around, has it ever taken this much control over humanity? Think about that. Why is it just now? Don't we have all the best technology? Don't we have all the best ways to prevent things from happening, but yet now we need to be locked down more than ever in history? That's kind of weird. People are going out of their way to try to bribe people to get these shots. That's kind of weird. They're telling you that you're going to need passports to just go to a place, to a restaurant to eat, to order food. That's weird. These citizen codes are going to be on there too. In China, they have citizen codes, where if you're not a good citizen, they deny your service. They deny you from having money that's being used. Like I said before, I'm an investor. I also invest in crypto because I'm curious about it. And what they're doing now is, why are they banning crypto in China? Why did they ban crypto in China? Because they realized that people can go outside the government and use these for untraceable reasons and untrackable. And what do they want? They want to keep track of everybody because they want to control people. So they're going to make it so they ban all that stuff in China. They're banning the mining of it, they're banning the use of it, and they're making it so now you have to use Chinese digital currency. Why? So they can track it all. The digital currency has all your information. When it was paid, what you bought with it, when it was used, how it was used, who used it, at what time it was used, where were you, the location of when you used it. And they're going to make it so if you don't have your digital currency on your phone, you're not going to be able to use currency. They're getting rid of paper currency and everything else. Only digital currency is going to be used. And what are you going to need in order to use that currency? You're going to need the passport to say you're a good citizen. And if you're a good citizen, what do you need after that? You need the health code to show you that you're a healthy, good person. And if you're not any of those things, you get denied. And they'll starve you to death. It doesn't matter. And then when you least expect it, they're going to come and they're going to round you up. They're going to quarantine you. And they're going to put you in a work facility. And when they need an organ, well, they're going to send you in. They're going to take care of you, and they're going to take your organs and sell out all your pieces. And they don't care where that meat goes afterwards. It might end up in some restaurants too, for all you know, on the black market. You know? Because they want to sell every scrap and make every bit of money they can off these human remains. And I can see all that happening, because it's slowly happening here also in America. That's why people are constantly fighting and against this situation over in Europe. That's why they're having these protests that are anti-passport, because they understand what's happening. Europe is falling, and so is the UK. And it's being done on purpose by, like, the Global Economic Forum, and stuff like that, which we're going to get into. China coronavirus health code apps raise concerns over privacy. As millions of people in China emerge from weeks of lockdown, their freedom movement is largely dependent on phone apps. What did I just say? The health code service, run on an ubiquitous platforms like Alipay and WeChat, and developed for the Chinese government, gives users color-coded designations based on their health status and travel history, and a QR code that can be scanned by authorities. The apps are specific to each city or province, but generally people given a green code are allowed to travel relatively free. Yellow code indicates that the holder should be in home isolation, and red code says the user is confirmed COVID-19 patient and should be quarantined. They're going to scoop people up, and they're going to prevent people from leaving their homes. If you're yellow and you leave your home, that's against the law. You're breaking the law. Now they can arrest you and put you in one of these camps. And what are they doing into each city and province? That's how they're doing in America right now in New York City. And they're pushing for this in California and other places too. This is insane. This is exactly what went on in the 30s in Germany. This vaccine passport is the new Aryan certificate. And so one thing I want to do too, like this is easy to see what's going on here. The same thing they did in Germany, they're doing here, but they're doing it even better. They're making it so everybody is now divided. And then they have it so they scare people into doing things. And there's going to be the group who isn't quite as scared and the people who are very scared. And what they do is the people who are very scared, they're the first ones to get the vaccine. They're the first ones to get the app. And they're the first ones to have these health codes and obey what the government says because they're too afraid not to. They've already got them. And what they do is they say, these people won't do it. And they're dissidents, and they're bad, and they're anti-country, and they're also sick and diseased, and they're going to get you sick. And what they do is they say, these people here, they're going to prevent you guys from living your life and doing free things. So these people are the enemy. So you, the good people who followed the law, should now hate these people, because they're going to prevent your freedoms from going anywhere. And they're going to make it so you're also going to get diseased. Even if you get the vaccination, they're still going to somehow infect you. And if there's no way to escape it, the only way to escape it is for you guys to force these people into doing what we say. And everything's going to be their fault. Just like the Germans said about the Jews. How they were saying the Jews were diseased, and it's your fault. And they're preventing your nation from getting ahead. And they're destroying the worth of your money and your rights. And the same thing is happening now, and they're going to go, if you guys don't do what we say, and if these people don't do what we say, we're going to have problems. And you're not going to be able to do anything, and we're going to limit what you can do. So now, they're going to make it so these people get so angry at these people, they're going to start to like the idea of these people disappearing and not being around. Because that's where everything they have is going to be blamed on these people. Just like the Jews and the Polish and the Slavs, these are the people that we hate. That's what they're going to try to push. And they're going to go, oh, they're starting to disappear. And these people are like, yeah, haha, you got what you deserve. You're disappearing, even if they're family members. And they're making family hate family. And they're making people destroy their own morality and disregard their morality for their own selfish wants and needs. And it's exactly how the government is using their minds to control them. It's so simple. It is such a simple concept and easy to do. You're seeing it happen. That's what's happening. So, put that into perspective. China's health code system shows the cost of controlling coronavirus and people. Red, yellow, green. Millions of people in China basing their lives around mandatory health code systems. This is never going to disappear, just to let you know. The coronavirus is never going to disappear, ever. And these apps are going to come out, and they're never going to disappear. And the injections and the boosters and stuff that you need, they're never going to disappear. Even if everyone gets vaccinated, these people, even if these people get vaccinated just like these people, and they all go to this side, now they get to control them all. And they say, now you have to keep your health code forever because we have to make sure that you're not sick anymore and people don't get sick. So keep your health code on you. As if you don't, that's against the law. And now have your entire history on you. And they're going to try to make it seem convenient. Well, all you got to do is go to your doctor and have them scan your phone now. Isn't that so convenient? You don't even need like proper checkouts now or checkups. It's so crazy what's happening and what's going on, and that people don't see that this is just another way of controlling. It's like, how they got control when 9/11 happened. Most people under 30, especially under 30, have no recollection and no proper way to convey what really happened when 9/11 took place and the rights that were taken away and how the world changed so much and how airport security changed, how everything changed. And it was induced in order to set a new kind of control over the world. And the young people don't understand the significance of all that. They laugh it off and they don't even understand. Like, they don't know what side they're supposed to be on. They'll just take talking points from either side and just go against you if they just don't like what you're saying. They're going, oh, you're being like Islamophobic. They don't do that. All right, well, if they didn't, then who did? And if it was the government, now you're just following their orders and doing exactly as they tell you, because you don't know a world without all these restrictions like I do and the people that are older than I am. I remember growing up in a world where you didn't need to go through like all these detectors and stuff in order to just fly a plane or to go somewhere. You didn't need metal detectors everywhere and bomb-sniffing dogs. Now it's all regular. It's just regular life, and this is going to become everyday life. Life in China is dictated by QR codes. Entering a shopping mall, park, or your office building now requires generating a green QR code using an app on your smartphone. Chinese residents have had to get used to having their phones on them at all times since the mandatory nationwide system of colored health QR codes was rolled out to control the spread of the coronavirus. How coincidental is it all? It's like this technology just happens to come out right when this virus comes out too. Like, within days. You don't just come up with like apps like that. Green allows you to move around freely, while yellow or red requires self-isolation. Introduced as one of the main tools to control people's movement during the pandemic, the system is widely used, even though many Chinese provinces have not seen a single case in weeks, giving rise to suspicions it might be here to stay. It can get frustrating, says one Beijingers, who is among tens of people who asked for their experience of living life under this new normal. And that's what's going to happen. I just told you. It's not going to go away. And it's never going to go away. They're going to make it so you just become so conditioned into having your phone and using it all the time for stuff like this. And people that are younger, it's just going to be a normal thing to them. You can condition them into anything if they grow up with it. China turns health rating apps to control movements during coronavirus outbreak. I'm leaving all these down, And then what next? China's push to control Americans' healthcare future. America's economy is rising. We're falling. They're gaining control. They're working with the WHO in order to control the whole world, which is also controlled by the World Economic Forum. What is that? Oh, look, World Economic Forum. What's a vaccine passport? And will you need one the next time you travel? A vaccine passport or e-certificate of compliance for border crossing regulations could be required to enable seamless border crossing. Seamless border crossing. Any framework that comes into place will need to be harmonized by a normative body, such as WHO, to ensure that its use is ethical and fair. World Economic Forum. What to expect? And report on climate change. These people are looking to control the world. These are the people who want to lead the world. The whole G7 summit. Now time for companies to add on sustainability report. It's like all this is used to put them in control. They eventually want to become like the League of Nations to control the world. That's what they're trying to do. How to travel domestically in China. Green codes and health kits. in China's COVID-19 response. New York, this is the vaccine. Excelsior Pass. The Excelsior Pass is the QR code we were just talking about in China, where they control everything you do. Like, come on, people. You know, all the facts. I'm going to put, all these down below. And then what do? Where does all of this lead? It leads to organ harvesting in prison camps, torture, brainwashing, like it goes on. All sides of the news have reported on this. Left, right, center, far left, far right. Secretly built hundreds of prison camps. China built 380 internment camps. China hidden camps. Xinjiang, internment camps. Xinjiang. China's 260 concentration camps are proof of pure evil. China prison camps, torture, brainwashing, organ harvesting, like I just said that. And this is where you go if you break any of these codes on your phone. This is what happens. You know? Look, NBC and Fox, New York Times, New York Post, like all these different places are covering this because it's actually happening. You know? China forcibly harvests organs from detainees, tribunal concludes. I covered this one in my last video, which I'm going to put at the end in just a minute. Like, this is what's happening in the world. And this is for people who think that there's going to be some sort of back to normal. Or they think that, oh, once you get the vaccine, you're going to be good to go. Oh, once you download the app, you're good to go. And the people, they're just going to learn to hate other people who don't follow the law like they do. They're also going to feel like, I have to do it, but they don't have to do it. And they're going to start getting angry, and they're going to want the destruction and the death of these people when these people are now following the law. You know? When just last year, what were they doing? They were burning down cities. Innocent people, killing innocent people in the street, being paid by the DNC, funneling money through Act Blue for the presidential campaign, which was also used to not only give the leader of BLM enough money to buy $1 million mansions, but also to bail out the people who were committing crimes and killing people and setting businesses on fire. People burned alive. I watched it like live on TV. People being murdered and killed, stomped out, their heads being crushed and murdered just in the street, setting precincts and everything else on fire, having weapons. But now they're going, oh no, now we have to listen to the government, because Biden's in. It's like, what is going on here, people? How brainwashed, like this is how well that the psyops work on people. There are certain personality types and certain people who run on stronger or weaker beta and delta and alpha brain waves and stuff. And the more submissive people are, the more controllable they are, the more gullible and the more confused and the more scared they become, and the more you can pressure them into doing things. And what's their goal and target after all this? To weed out all the people who are independent and self-dependent. That's the major goal of all this. So then they're only going to be left with the people who are like sheep. They're like pets. They're like dogs who will just follow any beck and call and demand. And that's the whole goal, is to weed them all out. And then they're going to lower the population too. And they're using all these robots and AI to replace people at jobs on purpose. Because they're not just there to replace jobs. Because then once you have all these jobs, you have all these millions and billions of useless people. What are you going to do with all those billions of people taking up resources? You got to think like the government would, you know what I mean? To understand what's really going on here. So I'm going to leave you at that. And go through these, read them yourself, come up with your own conclusions. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Am I right? Am I wrong? I mean, I've been showing you facts here. I've been showing you legitimate, proof of what's going on. There's even more documents to back this up. You can even go into like government websites where they release certain data and information. Do your own research, Like, look into all this stuff, Don't listen to me about the vaccine. Take it at your own risk. If you think it's good for you, then do what you will. Talk to your doctor, Don't listen to me, But I'm curious to hear what you have to say. Does any of this make sense? Can you see where this is going? Can you see where a path like this could lead to? You know, we've seen this before in history. You know, the same company, IBM, that came up with the barcode system for the Jews in the past came up with this Excelsior Pass. They're the company who invented it. This health code systems. So I'm going to leave it at that. I love you guys. Take care. And this is really important to me. I don't say this in all the videos. I really don't. I usually say, you know, I don't say anything about liking and subscribing on 90% of my videos. But this is so important to me. I changed my page from music, which I'm probably just going to get rid of that music and start a different page, because this is so much more important to me than my stupid hobbies and what I like to do. This is more important than I am to me. So share this, like and subscribe. Let people you know that you care about at least watch this video, and let them go through the links. Go through the links with them. Try to see if this is actually happening or not, you know? Like, look into it. Don't just take my word on it. Don't just take my word on it. Look into it. Because we all have the right to live. We all have the right to be alive in this world. So take care. I love you people, and I'll see you next time. And check out the next video. Love you guys. Peace.